just blew a hole into your whole continuity there. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 319 of Opinions May Vary. I am your host, JR. My co-host with me, Alex.
Hello.
Joining us this week, making his triumphant return, recovering from the brink of probably a pretty sore throat. I got to hear some of the coughs a little bit when we were playing Overwatch. I was like, wow, he really is under the weather. You know, it's just a shame. Joining us, fresh off of the bad health, is our man Colin.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Thank you for having me back.
It's been too long. Yeah, we had to jump. Colin was like, "Yo, let's talk about this." And we're like, "Yeah,
Yep.
we're talking about it."
Mm-hmm. A lot of it had to do with missing the PAX episode, and I was like, I should be there.
It's true.
Missed this.
It wasn't the same, but we put our heads down and got through it.
Mm-hmm.
We did it.
Mm-hmm.
We made a tradition out of it.
I'm going to no more calling on pack free caps. That's just how it goes. You're not allowed to anymore. Thinking about doing 3 days next year. It's gonna be pretty baller. Pretty baller.
That'll be a long review.
Pretty baller.
3 episodes.
3 episodes.
It's not a bad idea. Or is it?
An episode a
wouldn't
day.
be.
Have a different person on each time.
Yo, what?
We'll make Dave's wish come true.
Right now it sounds great because I don't have to think about all the work it's gonna take.
Boom.
But this week we're talking about the wars because there's an infinite amount of them.
Yeah.
Yep. They are not finite.
They're infinite.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say it right now. It's also gonna be in the blog post, so you can't come when you're upset.
And come at us with
There's
complaints.
gonna be right now we're 2 minutes in.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of this episode is gonna be
The
spoilers.
entire thing.
If you
pretty
have
much.
not seen Infinity War and you do not want anything spoiled for you, just click it off. Click it off for now and come back.
Go
Come
see
back.
the movie first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
yes.
non-spoilers, it's quite good.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's quite the entertaining.
It is an immense movie full of everything that I really needed it to be. I kept saying to myself many times while watching it, it's like, we don't deserve this movie. This movie is too good. And we're going to spoil the shit out of it today.
It's the last weekend of April of 2018.
Yes. God, already.
So, yeah.
And it's finally nice out. I know that because my allergies are going insane.
So in case you just happen to listen to episodes without knowing what else is going on, or you're not really into comics, or not into movies, or hasn't released in your country or something yet, this is what's happening at us right now.
Yes, we saw it Colin saw it the night of.
Thursday night. Yep.
He went midnight release. Alex and I were geniuses this morning, and it is a Saturday. We went and saw it at the 9:45 showing. If you follow us on Twitter at OMV Podcast, you would already know this. By the way, follow us on Twitter at OMV Podcast. We're pretty funny there. We went to a 9:45 a.m. showing this morning thinking we are damn geniuses.
I normally try to wait until the next weekday.
Yeah,
Because then most people would go to work.
It's just like you can't. You gotta go see this movie. I was gonna be fine with going the next day, but I was like, I don't want to get spoiled.
Yeah.
I need to go see this immediately
I feel like I talked about this earlier,
for safety reasons.
but I feel like I've been lucky because a lot of people do the thing of they have to go on social media blackout, or they just turn stuff off, or who knows, they don't know what they're gonna see.
I
It's
did. I
gonna get
deleted
spoiled.
Twitter. Yeah.
And I was aware of that, and I've seen stuff get spoiled in the past, but I saw more people complaining and saying, hey, don't be a dick and spoil this. And I saw more of those than I didn't see any spoilers. So either I follow the right people or I have the correct friends. It's the group that I have is they're humans and they're people and they aren't pieces of shit.
I did make an active attempt to avoid spoilers. Typically with I still haven't even seen the new Pacific Rim, but it's not like I was staying off the internet to avoid Pacific Rim spoilers. It is what it is. But with this, ever since I had The Force Awakens ruined for me, and again, spoilers, if you have not seen Force Awakens, I was watching someone on Twitch and someone in the chat just starts spamming Han Solo dies.
Oh shit.
And I was like, maybe that's not true. But even then, now the entire time watching the movie, I'm going to be waiting to see if and when this happens. And then obviously you could see it coming a mile away if something like that is kind of presented to you. So
when I got home after me and Jared saw it, and I was scrolling through on Facebook, right there, like at I think around noon, Bleeding Cool had posted, what were so and so's last words?
Oh yeah.
And it said who it was, and it said last words. And I went to click on the comments to see what people said about it, and like the post was already kind of shut down because I couldn't access it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to the Bleeding Cool page, like they had a new article up when they took down the picture and they took down the name, and it was like,
What are they thinking?
and it was like, oh good, this is why Dan Slott hates you guys and all your spoilers when you try and spoil Spider-Man stuff. And it's like the movie hasn't been out for more than 40 hours, and you put that in a title article. At some point, you don't need to be a news organization. Just let people enjoy things.
yeah, I watch a lot of Twitch. So when I was watching Twitch the last 2 days, you can hide the chat. I mean, typically that's just a good idea to do. But I hid the chat because I did not want any spoilers. None at all. I was desperately trying not to get this spoiled. I managed to avoid everything. I did get very angry for a split second on Facebook because someone shared a meme that was like, yo, check out these dope spoilers. And it was like pictures of car spoilers. And then one of them was text that said like, it said Batman dies in Infinity War. And when you read that very quickly, you get very angry because you take it and then you realize that it's just a troll meme.
Mm-hmm.
But did manage to avoid spoilers. Alex and I went to a 9:45 a.m. showing this morning thinking that we are brilliant, gods among mere mortals. No one else will be there. We get there, theaters packed. I was also late. It was mostly my fault. And we were sitting pretty far up to the point where, the necks are craning a little bit. But it was worth it because we watched Infinity War, and now we're going to talk about it. Again, spoilers ahead. Shut it off if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want it spoiled. Come back after you listen, then you can hear us talk about it. And you can be like, yeah, all those things you're saying. I saw that too.
I saw what you saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right off the bat, there's the Thanos, right? Am I right, fellas? He did the thing. He finally showed. Remember in the first Avengers when... Was it the first Avengers when we saw Thanos? No. When did we see Thanos the first time when he smiled?
End of Avengers.
Was it the first one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's to court death herself or whatever.
Yeah, because
you see him smile.
His Chitauri leader was that we didn't see him again.
Yeah, we saw him in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's killed by Ronan
He died
the
in there,
Accuser.
didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's played by the dude who plays Wesley and Angel and Buffy.
Was Guardians
boy.
the first time we saw Thanos
Full body.
Yeah, aside from smiling out of the side of his mouth.
Correct.
Or not in an extended scene.
Right.
Or a cut scene.
He had dialogue and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And it was Brolin at that point.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And then what was it? I'm sorry, I keep ignoring you.
Okay.
Was it Guardians 2? No.
No, Guardians 1.
When he's like, I'll do it myself.
Oh, that.
I can't remember.
I think it was.
We're talking about the end of credit scene.
Yeah,
when he
grabs
gets the gauntlet.
I think it's Ultron.
I believe it might be.
Because it still involved a lot of the gems.
Because
I'm trying to Google it right now.
I like these flicks. So
it is Age of Ultron.
Boom, bada boom.
So we saw him 3 times. So he smirks at the end of Avengers. Because that's when Loki brought in the Chitauri army.
Mm-hmm.
Chitarmi.
That's when he brought Loki the Chitauri army. Didn't he?
Well, the
Loki opened the
Chitauri army was in Avengers.
Right.
Anyways, so Thanos, we finally get a shitload of Thanos.
Let's just change the whole episode. We'll just review the original Avengers movie. So it opens with S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters. Nick Fury and Stellan Skarsgård are working on the Tesseract Cube. Hawkeye is up in his nest.
Brooding.
Then boom, Loki's there.
He looks really sick.
He gives him a tap on the chest. Remember how dope the original Avengers? Anyway, so Thanos...
We got a lot of Thanos.
He's hunting down his gauntlet. When we first see him, he's already got one.
Mm-hmm.
And they just skip over that. We don't even.
He
just
one does
beat
he
the
have?
shit.
The
He has
power
power.
one.
The power, yeah.
Which he reveals that he had gotten from
Nova
Novar, right?
No. Nope.
What's the planet with the Nova Core?
Is that the name of the planet? It's not called Novar.
We're very good nerds.
I don't know.
We should have researched this.
What's
He
the
had
name
the
of that
power
thing?
stone, power gem. They call them gems.
That, he got it from the Nova Corps. Yeah,
The Nova
he
Stones.
decimated them.
Yeah.
But like Novar.
Xandar.
Novar is someone else.
It's Xandar.
Novar's a person that we haven't met yet.
Xandar is the name of the planet.
That sounds about right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank
Oh,
you.
it's right. See if I can't get in one. I'll get in too.
Didn't even look it up.
So yeah, he got that from Xandar.
The Guardians made some pretty good friends on that planet too.
They did. John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly. You beat me to
Fucking
it.
Glenn Close was there. Fucking
I remember Guardians.
That's where the dance off was.
that.
That was funny.
Yeah, it's so much happens in this movie.
It's going to be very hard to recap this
It's
because I'm
hard
already
to-
bouncing around everywhere in my mind.
Like throughout the course of the movie. I mean, obviously, Thanos' goal in the film is to gather the 6 Infinity Stones in order to. His ultimate goal, we find out, is to eliminate half of the universe. Not like
Which-
destroy
Half of
planets,
life.
Right.
but destroy people.
Yeah.
Like living
Humanity.
Which in the comic for Infinity Gauntlet, he was trying to impress Death because he loved Death. Am
Yeah.
I correct? I've
Which
read Infinity
sounds-
Gauntlet once.
This sounds silly because it is, but Mistress Death is like
She's a character.
a
An
hot
entity.
lady with like a skull face.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's just like trying to get her to notice him.
and
Well,
she's
plus,
just like,
who,
meh.
who else like could possibly try and court her?
He's like, "Yeah, I just killed Cyclops. Like, you want to go out?" And she's like, whatever, fuck boy." It's like shit like that.
You know what I haven't seen yet? One of those memes of like, who would win? The entirety of the Avengers and Earthrise heroes, or one horny boy?
That's pretty good.
One horny space boy.
Yeah, so that's his ultimate goal, and then we know as fans who've watched all the movies that like these Infinity Stones, as they're called in the films, have actually been like typically what the plots of the other movies have been based around without really knowing much. Like, this is physically an Infinity Stone.
Remember when it was all speculation when the Tesseract was one of the stones? Yo, I heard it's going to be one of the stones.
That's like the Mind Stone, because like, or like Scepter's the Mind Stone because of the fucking thing, you know.
But I had a problem with that.
You did.
Yeah, because the Cosmic Cube has always been a separate entity.
Right. Yeah.
It's its
They're
own-
doing a lot of.
It's its own like cosmic weapon,
Yeah.
essentially, and it's different from the Infinity Gauntlet.
I mean, same thing you told me with Doctor Strange in the film. Is the protector of the Time Stone that's inside his Eye of Agamotto,
Yeah.
which in the comics is again a separate
Right.
magical
Yeah.
item.
those are two completely separate things.
Yeah. It's as if someone said like, "Oh yeah, Punisher has the Ultimate Nullifier as one of his weapons."
Obviously.
It's just there it is.
Yep.
Um,
So we've been gradually seeing these stones like come to fruition, whether what form, like in Thor 2.
And then like not knowing that that's what it was.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the red mist stuff is actually the reality stone.
yeah, they called it the ether or whatever.
Yeah, and then you get the power one in Guardians, and so on and so forth. The how did the Vision get his? I don't remember that
Came
happening.
out of Loki's staff.
That's what it was. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that Hydra base with Baron Strucker used. Don't do it.
I wasn't gonna, man. I thought about it.
don't even
But
know what
I
you're
was
talking
gonna
about.
let you roll.
You guys aren't the only ones that do this to me either.
Well, that's because it's so funny.
So yeah.
So Baron Strucker used Loki's staff,
Right.
and he used that to somehow use the gem to put powers into Quicksilver and
Scarlet Witch.
Right.
So we've seen each of these stones, save for the Soul Stone. We've seen all of the other stones in the films.
Yep.
Correct?
I believe so.
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah. Time, power, reality.
I guess so.
Power was
Minds.
Guardians. Time was Strange. Mind was that's the cube,
The
right?
scepter.
Yeah.
Space was the cube.
Uh,
Space was the Tesseract.
okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we eventually learn.
Yeah.
And then because the soul stone, yeah, soul for a soul. I can't remember how he got it in the comics, because in the comics Thanos went on it was the Thanos quest, which is one of my favorite stories, despite the fact that I can't remember. But it was like him getting the stones in different methods, whether it was by brute force,
All the different challenges
or
to
deception,
get them.
yeah, or just straight up like the one with the gardener. I can't remember the guy's name, and like
No,
he's-
his name was the Guardian.
yeah, and he's just like, I don't want to do this to you. it was like a cool like moment of levity where he's like, this doesn't have to happen this way if you just give me the stone or the gem. If I'm recalling it correctly, there's a very good chance that I'm not.
I've owned Thanos Quest for 18 something years. Never read it.
Really?
Yeah.
I really liked it. It was on the recommendation of Justin years and years and years ago. He gave me both Thanos Quest and Infinity Gauntlet, just saying, here, read these.
I've taken them out of the bags to get them signed and then put back in.
Of course. Of course.
Sounds like you're missing out on all this sweet gardening action. You know? So yeah, they've each of those stones that exist in the comic, and he had to acquire them through different means. That's like the prelude to the Infinity Gauntlet storyline.
Yeah.
Right? Because in Infinity Gauntlet kind of starts, the action kind of starts off with Thanos already having the stones, the gems,
And everyone trying to stop him.
and wiping out half the world. Like he does it like right away at the beginning. Because I remember I was very upset because Hawkeye dies instantly, and I was like, "Oh, now who's gonna be the bow guy?"
Did Wolverine disappear too?
I don't know. I
think he
don't
was
really
one of them that
remember
got
him.
vanished.
I don't really remember him being there at the battle because I know like Cyclops was there.
Yeah.
Because I remember very vividly he kills Cyclops by putting his head in a box
Yeah.
and suffocating.
Like
Didn't
on
he
one
turn
of his,
some guy to jelly? Was that Wolverine? I thought that was Wolverine.
because they traveled
That
to
sounds
his,
like it would be something he would do to Wolverine.
they went to his space.
Your
force
bones
for
are
that.
unbreakable. Now you have none. That was my Thanos.
That's a good Thanos.
Terrible. My Josh Brolin. Oh, you don't have any bones?
So he's questing to get these gems throughout the movie. Oh God, there's no way he's going to be able to get all of them because the Avengers are too strong.
And in a lot of ways, he's been trying to get the stones throughout most of the old movies too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Ronan was supposed to give him the Power Stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
And he was supposed to have the Tesseract, but Loki messed that one up.
Yeah, Loki.
Let's not kick Loki while he's down. Okay.
Yeah, I guess we
he's
could like right off the bat, they show you that they're serious with this movie in that.
Remember that super fun Thor Ragnarok movie you just watched, and you
Yeah.
loved everyone in it?
Yeah, everyone's great. Like Loki, like, oh God, one minute you love him, the next minute you can't trust him, but then you love him again. Oh,
Thor knows
guess
he's
what?
going to betray him, and
Hey,
he's
you
going
know
to
what?
out-betray
I'm
Loki.
gonna officially be a good guy now. And
Yeah.
it's like, and you're dead.
Yep. Yes. And it looked pretty. I mean, but then
Why don't we
Thor
go
can
through,
survive in space, but Loki can't survive getting strangled. Are you?
Let's.
Oh, he got snapped. You didn't hear that crack?
Yeah, but
Let's
like gods
go-
have bones.
Should we go through
All the deaths.
all the
Let's
deaths
just list them out.
now? Like, let's go through. Okay, so
Which death hit you the hardest?
big question is like which? Because yes, a lot of people die in this movie, and shockingly so. I would say.
All right, so if we're going to fast forward, it gets to a point
Well, we
where
can do the deaths later. We can go through the rest of the. It doesn't really matter. I don't think. Doesn't.
So, like, watching these movies, you know, as they come up through as they came out and watch them as they go,
The last decade.
there's still an element of suspended disbelief and realness to it. Because one thing I wanted to bring up, like, between the time where Guardians 1 came out, Batman vs. Superman came out, Guardians 2 came out,
Batman v Superman.
stay with me.
Okay.
I felt more emotion for a sentient talking tree that only says 3 words when Groot died.
Mm-hmm.
I felt more for Groot, who we just met, who I never gave a shit about in the comics. I put more compassion into that than when Superman dies. How do you not care when Superman dies?
Right.
I didn't give a shit.
Is it the Max Landis effect in the fact that you know he'll be back?
No, they just handled him wrong.
It's just
The-
Marvel. The thing with the Marvel
And
films.
but when we get to Guardians 2, and then Yondu dies, and I was a mess. Like when the rest of the Ravagers show up, I'm like, I was like trying to, like, no one could see me, right? This is when I'm glad I go alone during the weekday in the morning when there's only 20 people in the theater. So like I'm not going to see anyone I know. No one's going to see me crying. And like, how come I felt more for a blue guy with a weird red fin on his head and a tree than for Superman?
I mean, it's.
So
I'm sorry.
But we do this for each other.
We do.
I'm almost done.
Yeah.
I'm almost done. So like getting to that point, like we know these are locked in, to a certain extent. We know like, well, Groot's probably not coming back. Maybe. Is he? I don't know. Yondu's probably not coming back. But then towards the end of Infinity War, it's like they can't. There's no way. They're gonna
Right.
they're gonna fix this.
Yeah,
We're
they
gonna
have to fix it.
We're gonna rewind it somehow, and like it's not hurting me, but like it's sad. But
It turned into a game at the end.
by this point, like
Like they show a couple people, which one's going to be left in 30 seconds.
yeah, and it didn't hurt as much as if it was a different movie, because you still expect them. Well, like this can't be it. There
Right.
has to be more.
Yeah. I mean, we get those. I'm going to go ahead and table the deaths at a end of the movie as we'll consider them something different from the people who die on the way to the end of the movie.
Right.
Because it's a few people.
Yeah.
Of the deaths that occur, who do we lose on the way to the finger snap?
Loki.
We lose Loki, Heimdall,
Gamora.
presumably all the Asgardians.
Yeah.
What did you just say? Gamora.
Gamora.
We lose Vision.
That was like
Twice.
right before.
Yeah, and he wasn't even technically alive. So
Yeah. That scene choked me up a little bit when Witch was taking
Yeah.
him out and holding back Thanos at the same time. That got me a little bit.
I was going to say that was I have like a list of like the three like most heart-wrenching moments, and it was in particular that I don't know if do you want to do this by character? Should we just go through everybody? That's the thing people are here for, like. And I would say here, I mean, the Marvel movies, like, you are more connected to Groot because Marvel, as films, they do such a good job with characters. So, like, you can have... It's hard to pick a favorite with the Marvel movies because you kind of just love everybody,
Yeah.
you know? So
And
it's...
even if someone else loves someone that you don't really care about, you still understand their reasoning for
Yeah.
why they'd be into them.
Each of us can see ourselves in... someone in the roster, in the cast, you know, whether you think of yourself as a Peter Parker type, you're
Well, even while we're watching Iron Man, we're like, oh man, Tony's great.
yeah,
And then we'll watch Captain America, oh man, Steve's great.
yeah, and you're like, oh, Tony Stark, you're a jerk. How can you be so mean to Steve Rogers? You know what I mean?
And then we watch Guardians, it's like, oh, Pete Quill's great.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Peter Parker, he's amazing. And then like we put them together. It's like, how do you pick?
Yeah, that's the big question. What do you guys feel like everything this is 10 years worth of movies coming together for this. This is what we've been amped for forever. And it's really only part one of that. It's like half of the real big end game, the big climax, I would say. How do you feel it succeeded in bringing these disparate parts together from so different types of movies? How do you think that interplay kind of went? Because like Doctor Strange and the Doctor Strange movie, viciously different from the Guardians of the Galaxy's movie.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I didn't get any real culture shock of what the fuck? This is the same world. Like, and I don't want to do this. I don't want to spend the whole time comparing it to DC, but it's the only thing I can think of, and I'm not using this as a real shot, but you know how Batman v Superman came out and it was very serious, and then it showed what Joker was going to look like, and it was very much like, this is from the same world as that other thing.
Yeah.
It feels so different.
Yeah.
And I think the Marvel movies, and this one in particular, like blew my mind with having how they decided to split the teams and who was with who. I think was so... I wasn't expecting to love what I'm going to call the space team, which is Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, and the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, Peter Parker, I fucking love Spider-Man. He's my boy, so I was going to love whatever he was going to do, no matter what. But I think the interplay between all these characters, and they all fit so well, like Thor talking to Rocket Raccoon, like, yeah, they would get along. Like, why wouldn't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And it was truly... Would you guys agree?
I thought it was a pretty seamless transition in that, because even when it cuts to the Guardians, the soundtrack changes.
Yeah.
It goes to like the Guardian. We're listening to the old school music. It's no longer like orchestral, overtures booming over battlefields.
Right.
It's some
The Hans Zimmer. Bwah.
Yeah. I don't know what song it was that was playing when the Guardians were introduced in this movie, and they're all jamming out in their ship, and like they're going to.
It's not a jarring difference because we were already in space.
Yeah, and like it felt right. It's like we've been waiting 10 years for this. Remember going to see Iron Man? Remember that? And then Nick Fury shows up at the post-credit scene, and there's one person we were there with starts screaming their head off, and I didn't hear a word he said.
Yeah, I told her shut up.
And this is before like the age of like YouTube was really big, so I had to wait for the damn DVD before I could actually see like what did he just say? What
that Sam Jackson?
Yeah.
Well, we keep saying 10 years. Like we didn't have this 10 years ago. We had one Iron Man.
Yeah.
And that was it.
But
and we got a Nick Fury. Like we only got Spider-Man like last year, 10 months ago. Well,
Yeah, Homecoming came out last
Civil
year.
War.
July 17th, 2017, I believe. Let me check my screen cap.
And what one of what you're saying is like knowing like this is going to get made at this point. If they made the Tesseract and they gave we knew the Mind Gem was in Loki's staff. It's like because we're going to get to the Gauntlet eventually. And like at what point in that writing process do they go, oh shit, yeah, we got Spider-Man, throw him in.
Yeah.
True, because they just got him.
Yeah.
I mean
and he was a pretty big part of the movie.
he had a lot going on. There wasn't a lot of there was so many characters in the film that it would have been easy for some to just get nothing to do. And I think there was some
even when they did have
characters-
nothing to do, it was
Yeah.
still reasonable.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, new Groot is a teenager and he's going to be bored and sit at the corner.
Yeah.
That's
It got to the point where I forgot about, like, it would cut to another scene with, oh yeah, what are they doing now? Because there was so, and I'm not saying this is a negative. If anything, it was just we're spoiled with all of this in one movie.
It played just like a crossover comic book, like because they're different teams. They're each doing different shit. Like they're not even all necessarily gonna come together. It was like The Stand,
Yo, seriously.
Because it's like, okay, here's Thor, and he's going out. Oh, he's meeting up with the Guardians, and now he's splitting up. And the Guardians are meeting Doctor Strange. It's very.
Yep.
It was so cool, and I never I wasn't bored. It's not boring at all.
Nope.
And it jumps right in to the film, and
Even moments where I started to almost get bored, it was immediate. Like the first scene with Vision and Wanda, I was like, okay, yeah, they're setting up. Oh my god,
See,
now he's stabbed.
I thought that was very nice.
It was nice, but like me being a juvenile and very childish and all that, I just want to get, I want explosions and action. It was a moment of levity where I wanted it to keep going and keep going. Like I wanted to go 100 miles an hour throughout the entirety of the movie, which is
even
impossible.
Even that is like the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like early on, first time you see Vision.
And then, like, within minutes, they're already fighting again. And I'm like, okay, cool.
And then immediately, and now Captain America's here. You know what I mean?
And I turned to Alex. I exclaimed that probably one of the few times I've probably gotten an erection in the movie theater was when Captain America shows up, catches the spear.
Like just his silhouette.
Oh, God. Especially because I think I told did I tell my story about how I messed up Black Panther?
Not on air.
I can't remember if I told it on air, but I finally got my release because I'm an idiot, and I was a little bummed with Black Panther, and I told Colin this story on the way over because the whole time I'm watching, I went to see Black Panther with my wife. Like the week it came out, we were super excited. A friend of ours was a stunt woman in the movie. Couldn't wait to see her. Like it was really good times, and I kept hearing all those amazing things about Black Panther. And I left the movie kind of bummed because I'm an idiot. And the whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm expecting Cap to show up. Where the fuck is Cap? It was in the trailer.
Get this man a
get
shield.
this man a shield. Where is Cap? With it? They wouldn't put a post-credit scene in the trailer. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then I realized I'm an idiot. And that was the trailer for Infinity War. So the whole time I'm watching Black Panther, I'm like, I can't wait for Black Panther and Captain America to go to town on Killmonger. I can't wait. It's going to be great. And then it never happened.
One of the most viewed, most successful, biggest money makers. And Jared's least excited for the title character.
I was so I wanted to see, because the whole time I thought I was going to see Cap and Black Panther fucking shit up, and I didn't get that, but I did finally get that in this movie, and it was everything I needed. It was worth the wait.
That was cool. Like when the armies are about to face each other, and like it's just the two of them speed running in front of everyone else.
Oh, that was
That
dope. That was dope.
That was so good.
Because it was like in Civil War when they were chasing each other. Remember? They're chasing Bucky.
Because you forget that these people are like, they are superhuman. Like,
I forget how strong Spider-Man is.
right? Yeah.
Because like, well, Captain America, he's super strong. He's a super soldier, and like when he was fighting Winter Soldier, like he had trouble holding back that arm. Soldier's coming at him with his metal arm, his cyborg parts, and like Cap is having a big problem with it. And then it seems like Winter Soldier could just power it up a bit, and then like Civil War comes around, and Spider-Man catches it with one hand, while like, oh, you got a metal arm? That's cool. And it's like this 16-year-old kid, 50 whatever, just stopped
now
Winter
we get to-
Soldier
now
in
we'll
his
Would you
tracks.
say that's
Now we
more of
will
a
review.
reserved Winter Soldier, though? Because in Winter Soldier, he just wanted to kill everything
yeah.
as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Well, he was on like brute force mode.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, and then like, and I was, oh right, Spider-Man's a lot stronger.
Yes, I mean he
Then
caught
everyone-
the terminal. Like
Yeah. And then when it comes down to fighting, like the Black Circle members, it's like, oh, Pete's gonna be okay.
right. He can hold his own.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, God, this movie is I'm saying I loved the movie. There was, I don't even know where to go from here because of so much. There's so much I could gush over about individual characters. I could gush about,
Let's talk about Thanos.
I mean, I guess he's in this, right? Which
got-
one was he?
He was the grape.
Squidward?
No.
Oh, the big purple one.
Yeah, he got a lot of screen time, but it was to give him background. And to
Well, in
give
a lot
him-
of ways, he was the star of the movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. They could have just named it Thanos
Yeah.
and not even include the Avengers title. But he was given so much screen time, a lot of lines. I felt he was acted well. He was designed well.
Brolin killed it.
I liked how he looked. At no point was I watching this and I go, meh, he's not actually there. They're looking at a tennis ball on end of a pole. He's just being voiced over, from a sound studio. It's that never happened at any point in this. I was fully committed that Thanos is standing there.
He was very engaging.
Thanos is actively beating the shit out of the Hulk like they're real people.
And it's difficult to be interested in a completely CG character unless you're played by, what's his name? The
Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Thank you. But he couldn't play him because he was in Black Panther.
True.
And his you really had to make that character interesting because he's kind of not in a lot of ways. Like,
Especially to the casual.
I mean, rewind 20 minutes ago to us talking about his actual his goals in the fucking books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want this chick to notice
I
me.
want Death to like me.
Senpai.
Exactly. And like, if I was talking talking to my wife about the movie, and she's really interested in seeing it.
Yeah.
She knows the general like kind of who Thanos is probably from me and Colin talking about it, like in
Just
passing.
cultural osmosis.
Yeah, but like other like I've obviously like, we have a lot of experience, but like to the casual moviegoer, oh my god, it's Thanos. They're gonna be like, cool, what's up with his chin? Why is his chin like that?
Who said he has a
Titan?
ball sack chin? Peter Quill,
Peter,
right?
yeah,
Star-Lord.
yeah.
God, that was
Came
fucking
right out
awesome.
with it.
He's just gonna be that guy.
Yeah. But Brolin, he nailed it, man. Like, would you say Josh Brolin is hella underrated?
Yeah.
Damn, he was good. And like now we get to see him again as Cable.
What did you guys think of? They did a lot to, I don't want to say humanize him.
You saw a lot of like, it wasn't just I'm a bad guy and I want to kill people.
Not even just a bad guy. Like,
Yeah.
Other takes on that character could be like, well, he's just amazing and unstoppable.
He's a mad
Yeah.
god titan.
Yeah,
They
and,
could
like,
have just made him Abomination.
he could just
like,
wreck
I'm
everything.
strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whereas like he actually had emotion,
He had purpose.
and there's points where like you might have felt emotion with him or for him.
In a lot of ways, he was scarier because he would talk to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because he had like reasons for what he did, and even they were his own reasons.
Even
Because you
when-
couldn't talk him out of the shit. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Yeah, but he'd still be impulsive. You could fear the entire time. He might have a conversation with you and then just kill you, or kill someone next to you. Whereas I feel, because he has the power to do it, and like, well, these are my goals, not to prove a point, or there's two of you, let's make half of that. Whereas people will try to put the same element of fear into their depictions of the Joker. It's like, oh, he's crazy and impulsive, he might kill you. But like, well, that's just who the Joker is, I guess. And if
Right.
you're playing him wrong, that's just how it's going to go down. Whereas this was like, he probably has a reason behind it, or he just doesn't give a shit. He has a goal, and he's going to walk through whatever he has to get to it. And
I mean, he respected a lot of the heroes in so many ways. Like, it wasn't a personal vendetta against anyone,
yeah,
which was cool. It's not revenge, He just had his goals.
You know that line from the trailer wasn't in the movie
which one?
about like taking joy in your work or whatever it was.
I don't know.
In that trailer, where he's like, there's
Do you
a
mean
personal
get
amount.
this man a shield?
No, not that one. Not that one.
That was in the movie.
Yeah, it
This
was.
one, not the last one. Though.
We can talk about Cap's non-shields in a little bit.
Ooh,
When we talk about-
You guys didn't see this, but JR just hard rolled his eyes.
I did. Once we get to criticisms, the last like 30
2
seconds
minutes
of
we
the
need.
episode, yeah.
I did like Thanos' throwback to the first Avengers movie, because like when Tony says like, I've been ready for this for 6 years, or this has been haunting me for 6 years,
Right.
and Thanos is like, yeah, me too. And it's like, yeah, Tony nuked one of his starships, one of his armada fleets.
Yep.
Tony blew up the entire thing.
I forgot about that.
When Tony's like, oh, you know who I am? He's like, of course I know who you are.
What did you guys think of Thanos' quest for the Soul Stone and what was needed there? Because we probably need to talk about this scene in particular, because it also featured quite a good cameo.
Yeah.
Why don't you take this one, Alex?
I like seeing his return, seeing Red Skull come back. I was hoping we'd see him somewhere at some point. I didn't expect that to be it. Because if he was trapped in a space stone, then why wouldn't he still pop out of the space stone somehow? If he was in the Tesseract, like, I'd figure he would still be within that somehow. But like cursing him to lifetimes of guarding one of the other gems, it's like, okay. In my head, I had it with that it would have made sense if Gamora just suicided off that ledge, so that he couldn't gain what he needed from her. And I was like, she might have to do this.
I mean, didn't she try to kill herself?
Yeah.
Yeah, she tried to stab
And he
herself
just flashed
with
the
a
knife out of her
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah, he bubbled it.
He loves that bubble move.
Yep.
God,
I
it's
mean-
like his fucking C-stick.
When you... It's a Smash Bros. Reference for anyone. Oh, that was good.
Well, he had to kill Bubble Man to get it first.
Obviously.
But as soon as, the Keeper, the Watcher, whatever he was, Red Skull there, was like, oh, you have to sacrifice something you love. And Gamora was like, ha!
Ah, you piece of shit.
You asshole.
You don't love nothing.
You ain't got shit. You ain't even got a girlfriend.
I got all this stuff that I love that I can sacrifice.
Star-Lord, my little raccoon guy.
I can get that gem like 50 times over.
And then, like, as soon as that's happening, it's like he already spared her once, and he's taken her with her, and he,
I thought he was just
adopted
going to
his
grab her
child.
and huck her. Like, I was like, oh, God, stop talking, stop talking, stop talking. But they actually,
The fact that they made it slow.
they made it slow, and you could tell he was like, fuck. Like, he knew what he had to do, and he knew he was going to do it.
What did you think of that? Because I thought it was interesting pathos, for the character. But I was talking to Sinead about it, and she was like, when he was crying after he throws her over the cliff, she was like, oh, don't cry, come on, like, have some guts, man. What was her phrase? She was like, all right, take a nap, relax. Like, you knew you were
take
gonna
a
do
nap.
this stuff. You know what I mean? Which I thought was so funny.
You've got another daughter. So
Yeah, you got the cooler one.
Nebula's right there.
Damn.
Yeah, right. And because it was. I think it would have been. I also think it could have been more brutal if he just hucked her, like without question. But it was very. Like,
I mean, he didn't hesitate once he started the motion. Like when he grabbed her and just walked him through. It wasn't like hold for a moment, pause, make eye contact. It was okay, bye.
who was the dude? It was very biblical. Who's the dude who had to kill his son for God? It was very
Abraham?
It was very Jesus-y.
Is it
It was
Abraham?
very Abraham. Yeah, Abraham and his son Isaac.
I believe you. I don't know.
I think that's right.
I don't know anything about that.
God is good. So it was very.
Test us,
That
man.
was kind of a nuts scene, and I think that was that was a very.
No one flew in to save at the end of the
Yeah.
last minute.
Who's going to be there?
That was an agonizing death.
From one of the first views we saw, I thought it was going to be like a bottomless pit where she just falls into darkness. But like the fact
Like
that
Star
she
Trek.
hits,
And like she hits because like he blinks, like and
I didn't see that.
I didn't notice that.
And there's like a little pulse in the music.
there's a thud.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like you see him blink, and I was like, that's when she hit. I was like, she really actually hit.
Well, you see her,
Unbelievable.
don't you see her on the ground?
And then,
yeah.
then you
Yeah.
see her after that. But
That's
it's
sucked
still-
for Gamora.
yeah, especially because Zoe Saldana was fantastic.
Oh, she's awesome. That's fucking Susanna Dean right there. She should be
Susanna Dean.
Dark Tower.
Yep. Oh yeah,
Right?
I'm with you. I've been off it for a while, but
So that was one of the, I think, more heartbreaking scenes for sure, because it was just what a shit way to go out. And think about this, like, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, when we're introduced to how, because we know that she doesn't like, it's like a stepfather situation from way back in Guardians, and then we see how this is introduced, and like you're almost like when he's distracting her with a knife, and this is super fucked, but he's like distracting the child from all the murder that's about to happen.
Yeah.
And like she goes to look, and he's like, no, just focus on this. And it's like, what a good guy that Thanos is.
You know what?
He was guarding and protecting her.
Yeah.
Is she like fucking hated him,
Yeah.
and like it ends up like, despite the shit life, like in his weird, gross fucking way, he loved her.
Yeah.
So like she had to put up with all that shit, and he kills her, and he gets what he wants. That's fucking awful way to go.
I was wondering more about their past because he had his black circle, his 4 generals there. Because like in the comic books, they show up. I don't know about them. I don't know their names, but
Corvus Glaive, I know that one.
they appeared like in the last 3 years or so, I believe. But I was like, was she one of them? Like, was she one of his vicious generals who travels around just murdering planets of people? Because
Yeah,
she
what-
worked with him in a forum for a long time before escaping.
She was originally like a bad person in Guardians.
Yeah, she's like an assassin.
Yeah.
And Nebula, because they teamed up a few times. It's like, how
Thanks, Dad.
and there's points where I was like, how come they don't
It's a
seem
good
as
Nebula.
badass?
It was almost as good as my Thanos.
Right. Exactly. I'm
Jelly
Thanos.
bones.
Nah.
Okay, I'm sorry. God, I feel like we could talk about this for like 3 hours and still not talk about
We're
all the
already
shit
45 minutes in.
Jesus fucking Christ. What do you think? Who was your standout character? Who was your MVP?
This is so easy.
I don't have one.
This is so damn
You don't
easy.
have one.
Me and Colin are in agreement. This is going to be kind of boring.
I'll figure out something else. I'll figure out something. JR, who was your standout character?
Oh, it's Doctor Strange, man. He was so good. Everything, even his little like part in Ragnarok. I was like, damn, Strange is good. Because like the movie was great. The Doctor Strange movie was good. Everyone, like I was in the boat of everyone else really dug it. I liked it. I didn't like it as much as everyone else. Similar to like Wonder Woman. I enjoyed Wonder Woman a lot. I didn't like it as much as quite everyone else did. And I had the same thing with Doctor Strange. But when he showed up in Ragnarok, his scene was fantastic, very funny. Cumberbatch is great. He needs to be in everything. And then he like right off the bat, we get all this Strange like interacting with Iron Man, like seeing him and Tony. Like he just doesn't care.
When he
about
called Tony Stark a douchebag, I was
Yeah.
like, yes.
He's like, I do not care about anything that you're about because I'm I'm tasked with my own stuff. I can hold my own.
He's so confident is what does it, I think.
Yeah.
Because like War Machine hangs out next to Thor and Captain America and Tony's like, he's another Iron Man, but it's, he's in that crowd and he's like, when he's like, it's a War Machine story. And like Thor's like, oh, that's good for a War Machine story.
Yeah.
It's not as good as my stories,
Right.
but there's a level of like, I'm not up to par with these guys. Whereas Doctor Strange is like, whoever you are, I don't care.
It's like, but he knows. That's the thing that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
he knows all about the shit, and like it's like how like Spider-Man is like the annoying kid to everyone else. It's like with Doctor Strange, like everyone else is the annoying kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, he was like holding his own against Thanos, and like their
He
fights
was great
were awesome.
when he did the Zenyatta and like split up.
Oh,
into
that was so cool, dude.
Oh,
He had a lot of
you mean
cool.
the Piccolo and Krillin when they split up?
Piccolo and
No,
Krillin.
and he did like a meditation pose.
Oh, his
and, like,
arms.
all the
Yeah,
arms
yeah,
came
the
out.
arm.
And then
yeah,
he split. I think
that was
is what he
awesome.
did, right?
That was cool.
everything he did, like, and can you imagine? Like, I gotta hand it to Cumberbatch. The dude's an actor because those movements before effects must be so silly to do. I'm saying a very cool line while I'm clanging my wrists and doing hand motions.
Right. Yeah.
It's like when you see, or like even for the movie Doctor Strange, they were showing some of the stunts being done,
Just running and jumping.
and like just jumping, and like not actually flying it.
It's just it has to feel so silly,
It'll look cool, trust
and
me.
and he just nails it.
Yeah,
There's a story behind the scenes of when Sir Ian McKellen was first on set for The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
yeah.
And he was, I guess I don't really need to, I guess I can tell it real quick. And he cried next to a green screen because he was confused. And he was like, this is not why I signed up to be an actor. So it is a testament to anyone who can act against and with and pretend
Yeah.
that you have.
It's like he said it like it wasn't acting. There was no set. There was no other characters.
It's
like,
pure confidence.
I'm talking to a tennis ball on the end of a pole.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the thing. It's not what he's been doing for his life for 40 years. Yeah.
But Strange was he every scene he was in for me, I was grinning like a fool.
I loved that team, and he
Yeah.
was a large reason why. I loved
Yeah.
when he was like, Thanos first shows up on Titan, and it's just Doctor Strange sitting there on the steps.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And he had some fucking sweet ass moves.
He tells the Cape, like, don't let him close his fist.
Yeah, that was so
Which is also
awesome.
like, why does he have to close his fist? He can't just use the gem. Like,
don't know.
he has to close his fist to
You
activate
can't
his
pull the
stone.
gauntlet off him if his fist is closed.
Yeah, I know, but like,
Oh, that's actually a good point. Well done.
If your
'Cause-
hand's open, like you can't take someone's glove off if their fist is shut.
yeah, I understand that, but like,
That was for me. That was
he
it.
He couldn't alter reality or stop time or.
Well, no, he
overpower-
could. No, because he snapped his fingers.
Right, but I'm saying during that whole battle, he didn't get any sort of defense going because he couldn't close his fist and activate the gauntlet. Like, it was always keep his hand open because he's not going to use his reality gem and turn us into blocks or ribbons.
That's just not what I read into it.
Oh, yeah,
Right.
I guess I'll have to watch it again.
Because the entire fight was trying to get the glove off him.
Right.
They like at any
And
point
he was still shooting beams at him, wasn't he? Doing shit?
He was doing
I have to
stuff.
find out what order that happened in.
Right. I mean, it's one of those things, like, when he has the ultimate god device, obviously, like, when you really think about it, he could just, boom, you're all dead. And that's the end of the movie, but we need to make a movie. So things are going to need to happen. And I get that. But it was kind of a weird, like, really, he has to close his fist to use it? But
I think you're just reading into that.
I don't think I am.
Because like
Because that whole fight, they were fucking him up.
that
and you're
entire
trying to tell
fight,
me,
their goal was to take the gauntlet off of them.
right, and I get that, but when they're punching him and kicking him, and like, he can't just be like, you know what, I have this gem right here, and I'm gonna turn this entire planet into water. It's like, why didn't he just do that from the beginning? Because he has to close his fist to do it. Because every time you see him using the stones, it's closed fist, ka-chink, stone activate.
And that's what just makes it look cool.
Was it? The whole time? I'm going to watch it again and see if he uses the gauntlet.
Without making a
Because
fist.
I feel like, did he do the fist when he did bubbles and stuff?
We didn't see it.
Because he made bubbles a lot. You know?
Twice. It
At
happened
least
twice.
At least twice.
It was 2 times.
That's 2 times to bubble
two
something.
doses of bubbles.
Come on, Thanos. Think outside the box, you know?
think outside the bubbles.
Take a nap. Relax.
But yeah, in terms of like you said, you were trying to think of another one. Like, who's your second place for who like stole the movie?
Man, who did I really enjoy? I will credit, he wasn't my favorite because I think Doctor Strange was kind of the standout, and like Spider-Man is always my boy, so
Right.
I loved Spider-Man. I thought the use of the Iron Spider legs was dope.
Mm-hmm.
In this film, it made me like Star-Lord again. Because I really loved Star-Lord in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, but I didn't like the second one. I mean, I liked the second one, but I just liked it. You know,
Right,
It was
right.
just like,
It
ah,
wasn't.
it's kinda
Oh my
nice.
God, Guardians 2.
And the thing that this movie did is it kind of made me retroactively like want to go back and watch. Like I watched Doctor Strange like the next day. Like I put it on like while I was getting ready, and I was like, oh, you know, because I didn't like Doctor Strange, the other one.
Right.
But I think Star-Lord had like way more acting to do, which was super cool, like him and Gamora, and like when he goes to kill her, like that was fucking ballsy.
That was brutal.
That was nuts, man.
And he pulled the trigger.
He pulled the trigger, and like and Thanos is like, I like him, like boyfriend, like support your like his
Yeah,
daughter's
yeah.
boyfriend, like that's super cool. And like it was rough when he like found out that Gamora's dead, and he was like beating up like fucking Thanos' face,
And you want to be
and
mad
you're
at
just
him.
like. It's difficult.
It's like, God damn it, Starlight, just don't do it. But then you put himself in his
Yeah,
put
I would
yourself
have
in
done
his
the same
shoes.
thing. I would have done the
Yeah.
same thing. And like Tony's like, Quill, don't. Someone want to grab him, and then like
It's
you
like
know,
the end
they're
of
all-
7.
It was amazing.
John Doe's
Yeah,
got the upper hand.
Even from the
They
beginning,
got me.
because what you're saying, it's like they're putting Star-Lord back at like second place.
Yeah,
Whereas like he's the captain of the ship, he's the leader of the team.
Rocket was the captain.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because like he's to me he's like funny and most amusing when he's like, hey guys,
yeah.
here's the plan.
I've got stuff.
I'm Star-Lord. Come
supposed to,
on.
like,
I
Oh,
loved him
when he-
jealous that Thor was now there to be the
The
handsome
pirate,
guy.
the pirate angel.
Oh, Drax was hilarious.
Drax was good.
So funny. Him invisible. When that was one of the best lines. Like, how long you been there? 1 hour.
1 hour.
That was just amazing.
Batista
much
went
good stuff.
from like in the first Guardians, it's like, man, Batista, he's not a great actor, but man, he's funny enough. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then it's like, no, he's fantastic. Batista is a
You
genius.
just got to find the right role, man.
Yeah, he is everything I needed Drax to. Because like when you read, you ever see Drax in the comics?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And he's like, just I need to destroy everything all the time. Whereas this Drax is
He's
just
Drax the Destroyer.
He's a lovable idiot.
Yeah, kind of.
That's the thing. Like, I think there was no character that I disliked. I mean, the bad guys. I didn't like the bad guys. The new characters that were in the film that I didn't really care for Peter Dinklage, which I liked Peter Dinklage, but I thought he was kind of like, I'm bored of this.
I like
part.
that it was a dwarf, but it was
A
giant.
giant dwarf, yeah. So God, and everyone was good. Like Vision, coming back around. That Vision Scarlet Witch scene, brutal. And there was one particular line that fucking got me, where Vision was like, what did he say to her? He's like, only you can do this. He's like,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be you,
Yeah.
but it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that sucks. Like, I was so heartbroken for that. That was a brutal moment. And then she did it. She was pushing back Thanos. Like, that was fucking ballsy. While she's
Thanos, who
killing her
has-
boyfriend.
Thanos, who has 5 of the 6 Infinity Stones, and she's holding him back while killing her loved one.
Her boyfriend.
Like, nah, I'm good.
Like,
I'm good with.
and then it didn't even work because he fucking brought it. And she, like, tries to stop him from bringing her boyfriend back to life. Like, that is.
So he can kill him again.
So he can kill him. That is fucking nuts, dude. That is nuts. Like, man, that was good.
So the Hulk,
Going back to the
Yeah,
beginning.
the Hulk.
is he afraid?
I think he's scared. He's got to be.
Can you imagine the Hulk being scared of
Because at
something?
the
Kinda
very
awesome.
beginning, Thanos wrecked him.
Because I was
Wrecked
thinking
him.
like
Dunk.
we've seen the Hulk like lose before.
Mm-hmm.
Because he lost like the first fight with Abomination or some shit. But then
In a second, it's fine.
and then he gets beat up by Veronica, Stark's Hulkbuster armor.
Right.
And it's like, but whatever. And then he gets mind controlled a couple times, and it's like, yeah, well, he's okay with that. He like Bruce still was mad at.
I mean, Thor beat him in Ragnarok, didn't he?
They called it a tie.
Oh yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's got to be that. Because why else would he?
And like he got so destroyed.
Yeah, and like
He
in
got
like
wrecked.
going to
He
town.
got
seconds.
one, or he got like those initial shots in which barely even dented him, and then it was like, okay, so I'm just gonna put it into this one right now, and then he got body slammed.
Which makes me pretty hopeful for his revenge.
We're gonna get something
Because
I feel
when
like.
when the Hulk comes back, I would love to see like a really good comeback.
I mean, we didn't get that. There's that one shot with Hulk like running. Remember, they're all running in the trailer, like through in the woods. Like it's at the very end.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, there's a shot of Hulk in that fight, but obviously he wasn't actually there.
Maybe they changed it.
Maybe
Mess with us.
Could be. Could be.
I didn't expect him to be in the Hulkbuster armor because you see the Hulkbuster armor in the trailer,
right.
but we never knew that it was Bruce in there.
It was pretty cool. Just
Ruffalo.
terribly driving.
Ruffalo's just having fun, man.
Yeah, he was funny. He's always great.
What would have been fun was some Peter Parker and Raccoon one-on-one.
Yeah, there was a lot of people like I wanted Peter Parker to meet Shuri from Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that would have been awesome.
I just want every character to be in the Black Panther universe.
Well, they're technically they are.
Well, like, I want them all to hang out.
Yeah, you really like. I think everyone collectively hopes, but no one has said it out loud. That like after they win the fight in the next one or whatever, they can just have a party.
Yeah.
And like it's just like 45 minutes of like who hasn't met yet. Oh, hey Bucky Barnes, why don't you go talk to Thor? You
It's
know,
like
shit
before.
that.
It's like before Ultron shows up in Age of Ultron when they're all trying to lift
The
Thor's
party.
hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want way more of those.
Someday.
I liked the four new characters, the Black Circle there,
They were dope,
because like
They were dangerous.
especially
They
a
seemed
guy
dangerous.
who moves stuff.
Oh
with
yeah, that guy's funny.
after meeting that wizard guy and the Hulk dude, and seeing like them try to fight them off and having a real tough time with it,
Yeah, they struggled.
and then seeing the other two, which was like the dark elf guy and the horns chick, I forget their names.
I
She
don't
looked
know
like a
any of their
tiefling. She was awesome.
Yeah, and like then seeing the two of them like going after Vision and Scarlet Witch, it's like, oh, they're done. There's no if they're all on like, equal power levels essentially, and then seeing Cap and Black Widow like holding their own against each of them, it's like, Hulk, what are you doing?
Yeah, seriously. What's crazy is like this movie did a great job of making me feel like everyone was in danger.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
fuck, he's gonna die, like a lot.
Especially right off the bat when they kill Loki and Heimdall, and like it's like
Loki, that one hurt. That
it
one hurt
it
me.
did it, and I was like, it's some sort of apparition. He's fine.
Yeah.
Which again, you never know. It could be, but they did a pretty good job of making it really look like. But then again, we never saw his corpse after the ship exploded. We only saw Thor's corpse.
Unless we see
Exploded,
his charred
so-
remains.
I need to see.
We did see a strangled, broken-necked corpse.
Unless
with
there's an
bloodshot eyes.
autopsy.
Pretty sure he had like blood in his eyes, didn't he?
Yeah, he
He was
Who
all fucked
hasn't
up.
these days? You know?
Good point. I think a lot of people probably figured Loki's probably in trouble in terms of like Thanos is probably pissed at him, and
Have we had our share of Hiddleston? I love Hiddleston.
I think
love-
he's great. I
He
think
is.
Loki is one of he
Has Loki's time come though? Like, has Loki run his course? Because he was in Avengers. He was in all 3 Thor movies. He was in Avengers 2.
No.
He was in Age of Ultron.
Well, after Ragnarok, it was like, at what point is he worth holding around?
Right.
You know, he
Yeah.
kind of causes
I mean,
more
it was-
trouble than good.
He went out. I think his death was quite good. It was very
Yeah.
Johnny Cage at the beginning of Annihilation. So for a second, I was
Exactly
like,
the way.
I'm gonna check out right now because it's not gonna get any good.
You know who I would have liked to have seen in the movie? Aside from the obvious, I would have liked Korg.
Yeah, that's the
mean-
thing. Is he
Oh,
dead?
what happened to Korg?
Right? Where is
Valkyrie?
Yeah.
Like that's the
Yeah.
thing that sucks. Just briefly while
he?
we're
Piss
still
off, Ghost.
off, my stepdad, who I hate, was one of my.
He's got scissors for hands.
I stepped on him. I just been carrying on his corpse because I feel bad.
Yeah, we could do a lot of Thor. Now we're reviewing Thor Ragnarok.
Where
You
was
know,
So
the,
we open
You know the
Thor
guy, the
in
guy,
chains.
the guy who plays Korg is the director of the movie
Yeah.
of Ragnarok. Yeah,
I really like that now.
yeah.
It's really good.
That scene, I did like that Loki said his name was Loki Odinson. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was pretty kick-ass.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, he goes out. He chose the side of good guys. Thor Ragnarok, he had a lot to do. He's been the main. He's he was one of my top favorites. So I was bummed to see him go. Was there? God, what do you think was the saddest moment?
Saddest moment.
Mm-hmm. What was the most just
For me, I think the one that hit me the
emotional?
hardest was Wanda and Vision.
Yeah,
And
that was
Wanda having to make that choice. Just
You just
because
feel for him.
it was just brutal, like the cuts, but back to her face and Vision's and it was brutal, and especially
Imagine begging your girlfriend to kill you.
no,
Like
I cannot.
Yeah,
and
I
then
can.
or
Yeah.
imagine or imagine
choke me
having
harder.
I've already had this a couple of times. Every girlfriend I've had
has tried to kill you.
gets the. I mean, you guys. I might have done it to you guys too. Is when I get bitten, destroy my brain before I turn.
Oh yeah, that's fair. That's just
We've
a
had this
given
talk,
with you.
right? Have
it's
we in the
easy
past?
to tell someone to do it, but how about being the one who has to do it?
And Vision wasn't a zombie. He was still like, "Hey, it's me. It's me.
I am aware in all of my faculties.
I'm more handsome now because look at me. I don't have red robot
I'm
body."
Paul Bettany, like it's just it is what it is. I got a gem in my forehead, and if my wife was like, "Yo, if I get caught, you gotta kill me. You have to kill me," and that's maybe it's tied.
That's very Gamora. That was the same thing with Gamora.
When Star-Lord says when it's no longer a joke and he says, "Why didn't you go right?" I was like, "Oh, fuck." Like she just went it's still obviously going right wouldn't have changed
It wouldn't have
anything,
changed anything.
but it was just his way of saying fuck,
Well, he was even when they were in the ship, and he was still joking around, and she made a serious time. It was like, "You swear on your mother."
And they kissed. That was awesome.
Yeah,
I loved that.
it's like he knew jokes were done. She brought up mom. It's
Yeah.
we're
that
for,
was
we're for
good.
real now.
That was real good.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lot of amazing parts. I think Spider-Man's death got me.
he went out hard.
Because, he was so scared.
Because a couple people just poofed and it was, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
But he would he was
Even
scared.
The first one kind of hurt.
Oh,
With
it was Bucky.
With Bucky going, "Steve,"
Steve?
Yeah.
And then just collapsing into ash.
and
And then it was like, there was no score.
it was silent, wasn't it?
It was just...
And then they bamboozle you thinking T'Challa's general's gonna
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
And then
Okoye.
the camera pans and he's gone.
brutal.
But with Parker, he's going, "Am I dying? Am I going to die?"
That was the thing. That must have been... Look, I've never been in that situation because no one could ever be in that situation. But for some reason, I felt like I could empathize with all of them. Standing in a circle. Imagine standing around all your friends, and then half of you are dying. Can you imagine? We're fucking sitting there playing D&D and Brett is like, "Hey," and it's like, "What?" And then it's like, "Oh," and then Colin's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just that, and it was so scary. And Peter, what did Peter Quill say when he died? Because that one got me sad too. Because I'm sure he's gonna blame himself.
I don't remember.
And Peter Parker, I don't want to die or I don't want to go or whatever he said. That fucking... Imagine being a little kid watching that and Spider-Man just died. That's what I thought coming out of the theater. I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
But like you said, we got Homecoming 2 coming.
Next year. He's probably fine.
Unless we're getting Miles Morales, which would be dope.
Yo.
One of the things I liked, I told you after we got out of the theater, because we've had so long to set up who all the characters are, and so they beat the guy who could move shit with his mind, and Strange and Stark are kind of in the ship, and they're going, and Strange is like, "All right, so let's turn this around," and Tony's like, "Eh." Strange is like, "You can steer this, right?" And Tony's not saying anything, and I was like, "Is he spacing out? Is he Tony being a space what he's up to?" And Strange is like, "Stark, did you hear me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And at that moment, I was like,
Uh-oh.
he's making a decision that he doesn't want to make. And even though, at first, you think he's playing it like he's being aloof, and then you realize he's playing it because he's
running things in his head.
yeah. He's using that supercomputer of brain.
Speaking of, what did you feel about, Doctor Strange death was fucking rough too. Because I thought for sure
You thought he was gonna.
when all this things was going on, I was like, Doctor Strange is gonna have to do some fucking time shit and fuck some stuff. And then he's dead. Wow.
Especially because when you look at the odds, because Thanos snaps his fingers and half of the population of the universe is gone. When you work out those odds, a couple people from each environment are going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Tony was the only one.
Nebula was still there.
Right, yeah.
and
I forgot
Nebula.
about Nebula. But like,
Which is cool. Look at that
Mantis-
team. Give me that
Mantis-
fucking buddy cop
Mantis,
movie.
Drax,
Peter Quill,
Peter,
Doctor Strange.
Other Peter.
Strange, Peter Parker. So 5 of the 7 people who were
Yep,
there
on Titan.
vanished. Like, that's rough. I mean, he should count himself fucking lucky he has Nebula there, because like otherwise, what's he gonna do? His suit's wrecked. He's on another planet. He can't just.
I thought he was done when he got stabbed.
Me too.
I thought he was finished.
Which means like Doctor Strange must have seen that Tony Stark has something to do with the one.
Fixing the situation afterwards. Yeah.
Either that or he was like, look, in the one thing I saw,
Yeah.
Thanos had them all anyways, so might as well keep Tony Stark alive. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm curious what Doctor Strange was fucking cool. So much of that movie was dope.
I liked it when Spider-Man and Iron Man argue.
Was that?
When they were on the ship, and he's like, "I told you to go," and Pete's like, "Yeah, I thought about
It's
it."
really
And he's
your
like,
fault.
"You didn't think about it." He's like, "I did. I totally thought about it." He's like, "No, you didn't. Don't tell me that." And they're just going back and forth. And I was like, "This is great.
Yeah,
I
they're
like
cool.
watching this."
I like them. I liked watching everybody.
I liked seeing how happy Bruce Banner was when Thor showed up.
Yeah, that was
Thor
cool.
appears.
Oh,
He's
you
yeah!"
guys are fucked now, right? Some shit like that. Oh yeah, that was awesome. I loved Bucky and Rocket Raccoon. The arm joke,
Yeah.
was great because I've been waiting for that since Guardians.
What's funny, that's been getting like played out through conventions for the
Forever,
past 4
yeah,
years.
like memes. Like that's what I was telling
Yeah.
JR about that
Look at
earlier.
arm.
Anytime those cosplayers meet, like that's the picture that gets
Yeah,
taken.
just always the arm.
So how anxious were you guys for Thor to wreck Thanos?
Very.
Because
On a scale of not.
shit's going down. It's like, oh, well, Scarlet Witch is holding him back. Thor's gonna hammer him right in the head. Okay, he's taking the Thor's gonna Thor. It's like Captain America's trying to fight him off, and Captain America, he might die any second now. Thor's gonna hit him off a Cap, right? Thor, Thor? Are you?
Will you hurry up, Thor? I marked out when he showed up with his like old armor on. I thought that was sweet. He had like
I
the
didn't even
fucking
notice.
studs and like the red cloak again. I thought that was super
Oh
cool.
yeah.
Because in Ragnarok he just had like his whatever.
It was like the bare bones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was great. Do you guys? Is there anything that you guys in particular didn't like or had? I mean, other than the closing the fist thing that JR
Just
didn't
real quick, what do you think about Stormbreaker?
like?
Because
Oh.
that's an ultimate weapon, is it not? Or no, is that just Beta Ray Bill's weapon?
That's Beta Ray Bill's hand.
Okay,
because like Beta Ray Bill beats Thor and takes his hammer,
Right.
and he has the power of Thor.
And then he gets his own because he's so good.
And Odin is like, "Whoa, what you doing to my boy here?" And he's like, "You've earned this. You can have this instead." How
right.
about
I got it confused with
No, it's okay.
I've been reading too much of the Thor comic book.
Oh,
where,
yeah.
Where the Ultimate Universe's is it the Ultimate or is it Stormbreaker then too? I don't fucking know.
The ultimate
Either
hammer
way-
isn't. I don't think that's a Stormbreaker. Bill has Stormbreaker.
Right. Either way, yeah. And
I
then
didn't
he
know
gives
that
it.
was Beta Ray Bill's weapon.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. But anyways, what were you going at, Colin?
Oh, part you didn't like.
Things you didn't like.
Things I didn't like about the movie. I mean, aside from like the slow scene, and again, this is so trivial and stupid, but the movie slowed down a little bit for me with Wanda and Vision at the beginning. But honestly, that's the dumbest criticism I could ever think of. Other than that, Jesus, man,
I liked that. You got to think about that scene in the context of like one.
it sets up.
She
the
was
tough,
like, she's technically a kid, kinda. I mean, she's older now. It's been a couple of years.
and
but-
he's a computer.
yeah. So it's not like they like got into the Avenger business. You
I
know,
liked how some of his damage looked like sunken pixels
Yeah.
yeah
on his chest
and then
there.
he looked like he was completely unplugged when like
When he went
died.
gray?
Yeah, when he ripped the
Yeah,
guy's head.
that was like
ripped
when
out.
Optimus Prime died. That was fucked, man. Other than that, like, I wish there was more Cap. We were talking about that a little bit
Yeah,
early,
more
in
Steve.
pre-show. A little bit more Steve. Like Steve throwing his shield and bouncing it off shit is prime time S-grade Steve to me. So like the little arm daggers, it wasn't really working much
that
for
was
me.
like, all right.
But
Uppercuts Thanos right in the chin. Like,
Just like
he bops him in the knee.
Batman gauntlet, like slice his throat.
Thanos kind of like chuckles.
Yeah,
Cute.
that tickled.
I feel if the two teams were together, they would have been okay.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think like
But separated, they were not the strongest.
it was. Yeah, for sure. Like you got to think like the team that had like the brains was Tony Stark and Doctor
Strange,
Strange
yeah.
and Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And like they had a plan with Thanos.
Quill had a plan, so yeah.
Yeah, well, he had a better plan. Tony Stark had a plan that sucked. But like the Captain America's team, like once Thanos showed up, they're like, punch him. You know what I mean? Like it was cool to see that.
Everyone come here.
Just like fucking swing. Did you have any criticisms, Alex?
Too much vision.
Too much vision.
Yeah, even with this, I'm still not a fan of Vision. There was a point where, because like, one of my favorite catchphrases, Vision is a bitch. There's points here where I was like, okay, so he knows he has to sacrifice himself to stop Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
He's this amazing, unheard of technology of a supercomputer combined with this. Even like Bruce summed it up well. He's like, oh, he's parts of Tony and parts of me and parts of Jarvis and parts of all this stuff and parts of Ultron, I guess. But then being like, no, I have to die. Like, we need to get this gem out. If I survive, great. If not, we still need to stop Thanos. And with that, like, I mean, he also got stabbed right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was like handicapped the whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
got
he was
stabbed right in the
limping
beginning.
through for pretty much the entirety. Whereas like in Age of Ultron, he takes out Ultron with like the blink of an eye. You know.
Picks up the hammer.
Well, he used the stone, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to wipe him out of existence. And so there was definitely points where I was hoping like we'd see a little bit of retribution from Vision.
Well, I mean, he killed the guy who stabbed him.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it.
Saving Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Right?
I wanted more than that though.
No, for sure. Like you figure, it sucks that he's dead, but you figure like the other characters who weren't in it a lot, are presumably going to have a lot to do in the next one.
Especially like Jarvis has been around, and it's I always refer to it because like it's the voice and the the mannerisms. I guess like Jarvis stole the show in the first Iron Man movie. Like Jarvis is great. He makes the smart ass comments and he deals with Tony, even though he's just a computer. And then like we got Jarvis as a character, and it was really neat. And now like God,
Now he got his fucking.
it was brutal.
Died
when-
twice in that movie.
Yeah. Yep. He got it
Once
twice.
because of his girlfriend, once just outright having his brain ripped out.
Yeah. Yep.
Brutal.
I
It's like
wonder
Sisyphus.
if there's a way to save him. Because
Let's put the gem back in.
well, in the comics,
Just plug him back in.
he has his yellow and green and red outfit,
Yeah.
and then at some point he goes through a lot of internal thought, and he's like, "Oh, I don't have a soul," and he makes himself like
It's a
this
harsh
eggshell.
realization.
He makes himself this eggshell off-white
Do you have
color.
any soul? That all depends.
So he was entirely like this light tan kind of shade, and he went around as that for a while he wasn't crying to be like, "Oh no."
Wow.
So
He's dead, bro.
So what I'm getting at is, would they find a way to reactivate him without the stone in his head? And like, could they bring him back and just have him be gray or that off-white color and not be red and green and everything?
Dark
Because
vision.
there's still a chance where he
I
could
don't
come
know.
back as that.
I mean, he can be whatever. I don't fucking know.
At this point, all 6 of the stones are in the same location, and whoever gets their hands on it could probably do whatever the hell they want. So, like, Marvel does have,
And
and
now-
if they wanted to go that route, and again, like
Everyone's alive again.
the Max Landis, it killed death in comics. You could, in theory, just everyone's alive again.
Yeah.
It's all
Just snap
done.
the other finger.
Exactly. Although the gauntlet did get pretty messed up when he
It did,
when he snapped it.
I have a criticism. There was 0 Hawkeye.
Yeah.
0. And I am a Hawkeye fan.
You heard his name twice?
Yeah, at least once where they're like, "Oh, where's Clint?" I don't know. Oh, okay.
He didn't like the chords,
Yeah. So like, the fuck.
and neither did Ant-Man. So
And no Ant-Man, and I know we're getting an Ant-Man movie, but we're not getting a Hawkeye movie, so fuck. So, but I'm sure he's going to have a lot to do in the next one. I presume my guess, and I've been pitching this like in my own head to like try to convince myself that Hawkeye's finally going to have something cool to do, is that his family has been wiped out by the finger snap, and now he'll be
Motivated.
very angry and motivated. He's going to have like that fucking like visor from Ultimates, you know.
I think his family got
It's like
fridged.
the red glasses. He's like a crazy hitman guy. Oh boy.
We'll talk about this.
Okay.
We'll have words.
Yeah. So I was disappointed because I also think Jeremy Renner is a fucking hell of an actor, and he has yet to
He's
have
fun
like,
in that.
huh?
He's fun as Hawkeye.
Oh,
Hawkeye's a
great.
fun character.
Especially in Civil War. Like it was like, oh, he's got like a personality now. Like he's doing, like he's showing some color.
It's like, I got to do a vision. We'll see about that.
He's like, oh god, I should have stretched. He pulls out a nightstick. Yeah, I like Hawkeye.
Hawkeye is essentially just Jeremy Renner along for the ride.
And
guess
I
him in
think
a superhero movie.
he's great. Like I like that he's a human guy. I think that's cool.
Who's really good at shooting arrows.
Yeah, I think bows are sweet. And I love the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run, obviously. Have you read that?
No, I've read at least part of it. Yeah.
The only fraction I've read is Sex Criminals. But if it's anything like, not like Sex Criminals, but if it's as far as the quality of writing and story, I need to pick it up. Because it won like all the Eisners.
Oh, yeah,
Didn't it?
it's quite good.
Yeah.
When Marvel had released some of their timelines a couple of years ago, and they had them all like labeled out, and it was like Avengers Infinity Part 1, Part 2. And then like at some point in the past couple of years, they just check out the Part 1, Part 2 and hoping you forgot about it.
Yeah,
I
did not.
Because watching this, I was like, oh, we're only doing one Infinity War movie? And then it ends, and I was like, okay, we can't.
So we're gonna.
Yeah. As we get toward the end of our episode here, do you guys want to talk about the end and how, like, I turned to Alex and I said the same thing to Colin. Like that was a ballsy ending.
Oh fuck.
That was an Empire Strikes Back ending.
I think. And Jeremy is obviously talking about how a bunch of the cast is now erased. Including some big names.
Like
Spider-Man is gone.
Is the last line in the movie Cap saying like "Oh God" or something like that?
Yeah. I think people would be more pissed, or people would be upset if the next one wasn't coming out next year.
Yeah.
In May. Like, so we're gonna get it like in a year and like a couple weeks from today. So I don't think I would be pissed. I would be like, fuck, we gotta wait like through like fucking Ant-Man and Captain Marvel and fucking like all this shit.
It's going to take like 3 years the way movies used to be.
Yeah, like no way.
I need it now.
Which is why I'm excited that it's a good idea that they shot it back to, like they shot Avengers 4 at the same time they did this one. Which is how I know that Hawkeye is definitely in the next one because Jeremy Renner has been there. So I think it was fucking hell of a choice.
It's not often to make the bad guy win.
Yeah.
And it was true to the book almost in a way because but it's
in the
more,
book he does it right in the beginning and then like he kills everyone at the end.
Well, like at the end of the book, it's Thanos like sitting on a porch, like old man Thanos.
They got a farm.
Yeah.
Now I am the gardener. Right?
Sure, we'll go with that.
He was.
But it was more like, yeah, I tried, I lost. Oh well. Whereas in this one, it's like, all right, now I need to take a breather because it's been a long. I'm really glad he wasn't flying around in a chair. That was a nice thing, and they even acknowledged like, I hate this chair. Cool, that's all we need to know about the chair.
I forgot he had the fucking floating chair, like fucking MODOK.
They took his armor away too.
Yeah,
well,
I was
like,
okay
did
with
he
that.
like
When his
get
shed's
armor
out of-
once he fucking like filled the stones?
No.
Did I make
No.
that up?
He took off the armor after he messed up the Hulk,
Right.
and then that was kind of last you saw of it.
Yeah.
Well, it's that classic movie rule. Like, we're paying Josh Brolin all his money. Better take his mask off, show his face.
I thought you were gonna go for when you take the armor off, your power level goes up because
Oh, yeah, it's like 3,000 pounds.
it was
Goku.
weighted. Yeah, yep. So, real quick post-credit scene. We did get our Kobe Smothers.
Yeah.
I'm glad she made an
Smolders.
appearance. I thought it was Smothers.
Smolders.
Smolders. Excuse me. Been saying that wrong for a very long time. And our Nick Fury appearance. Nick Fury appearance. And
How what kind of emergency would this had to have been for him not to use that ever before?
Right.
Maybe he was on his way to. He was already en route to call Captain Marvel in some capacity, or like meet her. Maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it's a new contact
Yeah.
Okay.
that he's praying is still. Although
Because
he
he
doesn't
must
know
have
that
been
half the
driving
universe-
around like there's aliens and shit like that, you know.
But like, so the Captain Marvel movie we're gonna get takes place before Iron Man does,
Oh, for sure.
right?
before the first Iron Man.
Oh, I don't know about first Iron Man, but it definitely will be a prequel.
I honestly know nothing about the Captain
Because she
Marvel
deals
movie.
with Skrulls, and they said it's supposed to happen in like the 80s or something.
She's part
okay.
Kree.
I believe.
Gotcha.
And like, why wouldn't have Nick Fury have like called her when
We're gonna
Thor-
get like a young Nick
when
Fury.
when Thor showed up? Or I mean, when Loki, you know,
Right.
the Chitauri are invading. It's like maybe Captain Marvel
yeah,
should
there's
be.
gotta be a reason.
It's like, what level event does this have to be where he's like, nope, this is the call, this is the time.
Right.
Or maybe he just got it, you know.
Yeah, met this person last week.
It seemed to be like just like under
Hey.
his seat.
Who did you,
What is that
who did-
fucking beeper?
Who did you think before that image showed up? Who were you expecting?
I was hoping for Coulson to answer,
Yep.
but I also
Yep.
I love Coulson.
Yep.
I don't.
You're not
I don't,
alone.
I don't use the L word to express many things.
I mean, we're
Even-
sad about Loki getting killed. Remember that Loki killed Coulson
Yeah.
back in the day.
Even though I get like a weekly fix of Coulson from the Avengers TV show, I still wanted to see him back in the movie.
Yep.
I am embarrassed to say who I was hoping it was going to be.
Say,
I was hoping he was going to go into the back seat and it was going to be Hawkeye and his family.
just in the
And
back.
his family?
Yeah. And then everyone but Hawkeye gets erased on the street.
That would've
So
been
he's
brutal.
alone in New York. That's
Yeah.
what I would have wanted.
That would have been brutal.
I thought that would have been cool.
Hmm.
I have a lot of weird
I
fan
like-
ideas for Hawkeye.
No, well, I feel like you expecting Hawkeye because you're a fan is
Yeah.
the same as me expecting Coulson because
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a fan.
Exactly.
Did-
And I was
did
just
you-
desperate for him to be in it, you know?
Yeah. Or just like an ex show up and be like,
Yeah, seriously.
My brain couldn't really comprehend it.
Yeah.
So like the whole time, like the dots are going there and the dots, and I'm just thinking like, who's this going to be? Who could this possibly be? Everyone is dead or dying. Who could this be? And I thought I was like, it can't be Ant-Man. Like
It's like a bug screen.
it's just an ant.
Nick Fury like gets down on the sidewalk and like starts whispering to bugs. Get Ant-Man.
Go get that guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh, that's funny.
He's good at opening safes.
wait, was that your guess?
He's a war criminal, right?
No. I mean, like, part of me, like, for a split second, I was like, it can't be Ant-Man. But, like, I honestly didn't have one. My brain could not process fast enough to be like, who could this possibly be? It was... And then even when the symbol showed up, I thought it was the Nova Corps.
Yeah, at the start I didn't have it, but when
Yeah.
the red and the blue appeared, I was
Yep.
like, oh.
Then I was like, oh, fuck
and it was neat
yeah.
because you could hear the audience go, oh.
Yeah, seriously.
We were all clueless for
Yep.
like 90% of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was just everyone like viciously anticipating like a text message. Like, who the fuck
On a
is this?
beeper.
You know what I mean? A weird space beeper.
Speaker.
The speeper, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie, it got me so excited again for the Marvel Universe. I kind of want to do like a giant Marvel cosplay. I'm going to get a hold of V Cosplay and like Allie and everybody and be like, hey,
Just do a huge
let's
amalgam.
all do
I'm
Avengers.
everyone. Kill me.
I want
Every
to
breath is agony.
be the power gem.
Oh, man.
Dude, that'd be dope.
Just the entire gem.
You got a note? You got to say something?
Oh, go on Instagram.
Okay.
Find Andy Park Art, and find Ryan Mienerding.
Yes.
That's Mienerding. These two guys, they're two of I'm not sure how many are employed, but these two guys post a lot of their pre-conceptual work, and so Marvel
I think I've
hires.
seen this. Yeah.
They're hired to work in-house for Marvel Cinematic Universe. And so if you go to their page, like you'll see their past posts from Black Panther, and they're like, here's my original like 20 designs for Killmonger, which means he had to hold on to these for 3 years
Yeah.
while they're actually shooting Black Panther before, because he couldn't post them ahead of time.
Right.
And so the movie comes out, and then you get to see like their posts and everything. So Andy Park and Ryan Mandeering, and they got to go to the premiere because they're basically responsible for designing most of what you're seeing in the movies, because they've had to lay them out on paper or on computer, on CG. They're doing a lot of design work, and like it's their art that's getting approved or denied or altered or tweaked. And so like when we're talking to Corlin Hubble, yeah, and it's like, you know, I had to draw 100 cap shields for them to pick the right one. I had to design, you know, 30 Black Panther costumes. These are the guys that do that. And like when you first see Asgard, it's like someone had to design what that was going to look like and draw it first before it gets made and put in a movie. And so these are two of the guys, if you really want to get, you know, like a deeper look and see what's coming out and see where your talent might go. People who want to be an artist and be like, well, I can't just draw well, there's a lot of different avenues you can try and take. So definitely check out these two guys, follow them, follow all their stuff. They post a lot of cool things, and it's just interesting to see the design. I love the design process. And like what could have been what we almost got, seeing like their conceptuals for how many Spider-Man costumes they went through before whichever ones get approved. And it's really neat. So like, you know,
it's all I'm looking up right now.
You can almost look, you can basically look at a history of the Marvel Cinematic Universe through, you know, and they're just two of them. I'm sure there's more, but I just can't, those are these two that I happen to follow. And it's really neat.
A lot of this stuff wouldn't exist without people like them.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, someone's gotta have that vision.
Did you see even a lot of the artists got invited to the premiere? It's not just like the movie stars and everything.
Right.
It's like because
the people who've been making these stories for years.
Like Todd Knock got invited to the premiere.
No shit.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So these are neat. That's a neat thing I like to.
Concept art is always sweet because it's such a cool way to see like what could have been, and like it's cool to see like where. Because it's so much like, okay, here's one with like a longer, like a sash, you know, a short sash, and like let's do a sash like a cape, you know, and it's cool to see like how costume. I love the costume designs. That's always
even
cool.
In the beginning when the first Thor came out, and it was a matter of like we have Tony Stark and all his science and his tech and tech science tech, and then we go to all right, Thor's got a magic floating city island. How's in a rainbow bridge? It's like, how's that gonna, you know, we just got past Iron Man 2. Like, how are we gonna make this look good and exist in the same world? Oh, it worked out fine. You know, how many designs had to go through of like, no, to make this work?
Right.
But
probably very, very many than either of us would ever have patience for. It was a damn good movie.
I like all those movies. They're so much fun. You know, and lots to look forward to.
I tried looking up what the Phase 3 collector's edition is going to be, and they don't have one yet.
Oh, right, like putting the DVDs together.
Yeah.
Is this we're in Phase 3 still, or is this Phase 4?
We might be in Phase 4 now. I'm not exactly sure. But so Phase 1 was the briefcase. Phase 2 was the Power Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what 3 is yet, but I want it.
Oh, like what the
It'll be like
what the prop will
the
be.
case.
Like
the prop.
It'll be like a gauntlet.
I would hope so.
When you open the fist, there's just some DVDs
It's just
there.
discs. You have to open the Power Stone. And like,
discs.
there's your disc. You know?
How big would that glove have to be?
I mean, did you see the one in the movie?
Quite large.
Pretty big. Can you imagine like Doctor Strange wearing that?
It's like someone getting the thumb.
Just dive into the whole...
Colin, thanks so much for coming on.
Hey, thank you.
Talking about
Thank you so much for having me.
movies and stuff.
I love coming on and talking about anything with you guys. And
Oh.
I'm thrilled to do so because I'm also a fan of this show, so it's cool to be
this
on
guy.
a show that you like.
You're so nice.
Nah, you guys are.
You are.
And it's fun to always talk about something positively. Like I felt what was the last thing I was on was talking Stranger Things too, and I like kind of went to task on that. But now I'm excited. I was like, oh, I have good things, nice things to say about something. And plus, like, who doesn't fucking love the Infinity War? Like that movie was fucking dope.
Yeah. I haven't really seen any that movie kind of sucked.
A lot of the posts I've seen have just been wow.
Yep.
Yeah, people
wow,
are just,
decompressing.
I want so badly. You ever like show someone a movie just so you can see how they react to a certain part? Like that's what I want to do is like get to the end and then like see what they think. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be very hard to not be that guy when I go see it with my wife and be like, "Watch this part. Watch this part. This part's really cool."
Yeah, I'm watching it. Shut up.
Yeah. What do you think I'm doing? The old Kevin James routine.
She just no sells it. Like, well, they're just gonna get the gauntlet back.
But it was a good movie. Hope you enjoyed our spoiler-free review. Just kidding. I'm looking at snaps from my wife while I'm talking.
I liked when Silver Surfer showed up. That was cool.
Oh, Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, Doug Jones.
That was great.
I like Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
I like Doug
But
Jones.
it was a damn good ass movie. It almost made me embarrassed to say how much that I really enjoyed Justice League, because it's almost unfair to put the two.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Justice League was fun.
Justice League was a fun movie for what it was.
We haven't talked about it. I went into it planning to hate it,
Yep.
and then I didn't.
Yep.
I didn't hate
Same.
it. Yeah.
I went in with a very big cringe face from the very beginning, and then by the end I was laughing really hard.
And then that fucking Green Lantern came down in the war fight. Like,
That was
was
cool.
awesome.
Yep.
I just described it as a war fight.
A war fight with
That's
the
what it
war
was.
boys.
I'm a war fighter.
You're the ultimate war fighter. But Infinity War was great. I actually didn't know that there was a second one. Like, I was like, where the hell do they go now?
I thought it wasn't.
So next year should be a lot of fun. In between then, we get a new Star Wars movie, and all that good stuff to
Yeah,
look
we get
forward
Star Wars
to.
like in 2 weeks.
Like real soon. And a
Yeah.
bunch of people are like, why is no one talking about this? Because this movie looks dope.
Does look fun.
It's going to be fun. We are very spoiled, and we live in an amazing time.
That's true.
Aside from our current political climate, everything else has the tendency to be pretty great.
Movie wise, we're doing okay.
Yeah, movie-wise and pop culture-wise, we are very spoiled. So I guess that's going to do it, right, fellas?
Yeah.
A+ to the movie, I guess. I don't know. So, Colin, thanks for coming on. It was a lot of fun. Let's
Thank
go
you.
play with a Frisbee now. Until next week, I have been JR.
I'm Alex.
And I was Colin.
And this has been episode 319 of... I can't think of anything funny. I was going to try to fit in like an infinity reference, but...
Oh, God.